I was 15 the first time the ocean made the world go silent. I had skipped school, not officially. I had forged a note, borrowed what I needed, and found my way to the water. I do not remember every detail of that day, but I remember the feeling. The edge of the Mediterranean, the nervousness in my body, the weight of the borrowed equipment, the strange moment before entering when part of you wants to go forward and another part wants to stay safe. Then I put the regulator in my mouth. I went under, and the word disappeared. The noise disappeared, the voices disappeared, the pressure disappeared. For the first time, there was no one asking me to become anything. No one correcting me, no one measuring me, no one telling me what and who I should be. Just water, breath, blue silence. And a boy who for a few minutes did not have to perform his love. I did not have words for it then. I would only understand it years later. The ocean was not entertaining me, it was returning me to myself. That is something no book had ever done to me in the same way. Not because books are useless. I love books. Books have helped me many times. They have given language to pain. They have opened doors in my mind. But there are truths a book can only point to, and there are truths that must touch your skin. A book can describe peace. The ocean lets you feel it through your body. A book can explain surrender. The tide shows you what cannot be controlled. A book can talk about presence, but water brings you back before you even understand why. That day underwater, I did not learn a concept. I felt something, and the body remembers what the mind forgets. Years later, whenever life became too loud, I found myself going back to water. Not always dramatically, sometimes just standing there, feet in the sand, looking at the horizon, saying nothing. In Lebanon, in Australia, in moments when I had too many thoughts, and in moments when I had no answers at all, every time the ocean did the same thing. It did not solve my life, it changed my relationship to it. That is a very different thing. The argument in my head became quiet. The fear became smaller. The urgency softened. The ocean did not give me advice. It gave me proportion. Because when you stand before something that vast, your private storm is no longer the whole sky. Your pain is real. Your fear is real. Your uncertainty is real. But it is not everything. And sometimes that is enough to create space. There were times in my life when I tried to understand why I was unhappy, why I felt trapped, why a life could look correct from the outside and still feel wrong inside. I searched through thoughts, through books, through ideas, through analysis. Some of it helped, but there were moments when understanding was not enough. I needed something quieter than my mind and larger than my pain. The ocean gave me that. Not an answer, a place to stop performing long enough to feel what was true. This is why direct experience matters so much to me. Not as entertainment, not as escape, but as a way back to reality. There is a point where the mind cannot think its way back into aliveness. It has to be returned through experience, through the senses, through the feet, through the skin, through the breath, through the word. When you stand in front of the ocean, something different happens. You do not just look at it, it looks back. Not with eyes, with vastness, with rhythm, with silence, with a power that does not need to explain itself. And if you stay long enough, your mind begins to bow, not in defeat, in relief. Because you do not have to be important in front of the ocean. You do not have to explain yourself. You can just be a human being. Barefoot, breathing, small. And sometimes smallness is not humiliation. Sometimes smallness is freedom. The wave comes, the wave goes, the tide rises, the tide falls. The shore receives everything and keeps nothing. You do not have to hold everything either. You can let things come, you can let things go. You can be here while they are here and release them when they leave. That is the kind of truth a book can explain, but the ocean makes your body understand it, and the body believes what it had lived. The horizon is medicine, not because it magically fixes your life, but because it stretches your attention beyond the cage of your own thoughts. When you look at the horizon, your mind cannot hold everything so tightly. Something opens, something widens, the story loosens. And in that quiet space, truth can enter. Not the truth you force, the truth that appears when you finally stop running. Most people do not need to become someone new. They need to return to the part of themselves that was buried under noise, obligation, pressure, and fear. And nature helps with that return because nature does not ask you to become impressive. It only asks you to become real. Nobody is important in front of the sea. Nobody is above the tide. Nobody can command the horizon. And that humility is not humiliation. It is liberation. For a moment, you can just be a body, a breath, a human being standing at the edge of something vast. Feet in the sand, eyes on the water, wind on the skin, nothing to perform, nothing to explain, nothing to become. Just this. So maybe the question is not, what more do I need to know? Maybe the question is, what do I need to touch again? When was the last time you stood barefoot somewhere real? When was the last time you watched water without needing to do anything with it? When was the last time you allowed life to reach you through your senses, not just through your thoughts? Because if the distance between you and nature keeps growing, the distance between you and yourself grows with it. And maybe the way back is simpler than we think. Not easy, but simple. Go outside, find water, take your shoes off. Let the horizon take some of your noise. Let the waves remind you that everything moves. Let the ocean teach your body what your mind has been trying to understand for years. You are not separate from life. You are part of it. You are not only your thoughts. You are breath, body, water, attention, aliveness. And sometimes to remember that, you do not need another book. You need the sea. If this resonates, the book goes deeper. The first chapter is free. Link below.